Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? So, first tarot live in a while. My energy has been quite low just because the intensity of everything. It's so overwhelming that I really needed to take a break and go within and really, ground, but also just check in with where I'm at in terms of all the changes and transformations going on within my life and really adjusting to the new energy levels that are here and the changes and movement that is getting us from where we were and where we are sort of meant to and destined to be in terms of our life path. So a couple notes just before we get into the reading. First of all, I'm Mollie Kindred, and I also run Kindred Heart Tarot. So you can find me on Facebook at Kindred Heart Tarot. And if you haven't already subscribed, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Of course, it helps me grow and also connects you to the community. So some of the big themes that are going on right now are judgment. So we're really working on, judging our past and weighing, the patterns of the past, our identity from the past, our expectations of ourselves and others, judgments, criticism, shame, resentments, all the things from the past, all our karmic cycles or ancestral cycles, everything's really coming up to the surface to be investigated and analyzed from multiple perspectives. So we're really looking at all different types of facets of our own being, our own selves, as we move through this lifetime on this soul journey, this soul path. So there's this rebirth of values going on where we're really looking at what's important to us, what is not important to us, and how we want to invest our time from now and into the future. And so it's this really, really it's like a tossing of a salad kind of energy in terms of our past, present, and future. Everything's converging and it feels really intense. And those of you who are water symbols, or you have a lot of water astrology in your chart, you might be Grand Trine, you might really feel like you've been drowning in all of this energy because a lot of this energy is collective, but you'd be surprised at how much energy you're producing on your own at this time as well. So if you guys feel very overwhelmed, if you feel like you've just been, bobbing up and down, so 1 minute you're, okay, I got a fresh breath of air, and then you feel bogged down by something that you're working on from your past or just something you've been churning or chewing on for quite a while, that is part of what is happening at this time. We're really digging deep. We're really getting to the bottom of things. And what this is doing is this is also providing an opportunity for us to know the truth about ourselves, the truth about the choices we've made along the way, and the truth of the choices that we are making right now, and what will come of those choices. So there's a lot of choices happening right now, and your head might be spinning, going, okay, like things are uncertain in the world right now, and I'm expected to make these choices, and some of you might feel very overwhelmed. I've also been in that overwhelmed energy and really taking a step back from doing my tarot readings and putting my energy out there in terms of service and giving, because I really needed to withdraw and go inwards and focus on myself. Because when you go inwards and you're doing shadow work, and the astrology is very powerful right now, you can find yourself in the energies of depression, anxiety, and really having trouble or struggle and getting into that energy of challenge, maybe listlessness. I wrote down here feeling lost, a lack of clarity, disappointment, fatigue, but also there's this recognition that things are changing. So there's this loss or this fear of the future, but there's also this recognition of things that are changing and not being able to settle for things that you might have settled for in the past. So you're changing, you're spiraling up to the next level. And so certain situations or people or things are falling away. Maybe old goals that you had might be falling away, things you thought were really important. You might be totally doing a 360 or 180 and going, okay, that's not important. I'm recognizing my priorities aren't really matching with what I truly want or with what my heart truly wants. And so there's this convergence and merging as well of the mind and the heart. So many of us were operating either just from a heart-centered space and being very much in the emotions and very much from, the light and love energy. And there are some people who are operating very much just from the intellectual, just from the cerebral energies. And what's happening now is I think they're coming together and converging on that spectrum. 555 was just on the timestamp there, and big changes and facing our fears are coming up around, how we can balance coming from the heart and the mind so that we can actually really relate to each other instead of being too overwhelming to other people and our relationships and our connections when we're coming from that emotional, codependent, needy energy, and also coming from that cold, intellectual, not willing to receive energy. So we're trying to bridge the gap between the two, or I should say, we're not trying, we are. And this is really uncomfortable for some people, especially if you're afraid of change. And that's changes within you, but also changes outside of yourself, because Spirit is really showing us how bad it can get when you're out of alignment with your true self or your true heart's needs. So if you're really resisting and you're backing away or you're avoiding or you're running from, speaking your truth, honoring your truth, embodying your truth, things are going to get really mucky and hard for you to move, because Spirit wants you to be free. Your higher self wants you to liberate yourself from old conditioning of, parents, self-worth issues, lack of self-esteem, insecurities. Your higher self, your team, your guides, your past over loved ones, Spirit are all assisting you at this time for you to really live your freest self, liberated from those old burdens and bondages from the past. So having this view of yourself is not good enough, or can't have relationships, or aren't worthy, or never connect. These are things that are being dismantled, and there's a choice right now where you can choose to stay stuck in that energy of grief and an addiction to suffering and pain, where you can choose in that powerful energy of creation and responsibility to actually say no to that energy, say no to those addictions from the past, and actually start with this new foundation. And this new foundation is very much based on your spirit, so your higher self. And so there's so much going on. And as I said in the beginning, this is part of why I have not been online, because I have been so overwhelmed. And it's not fair for someone like me to come on here. And I'm not this type of person. I will not say that I'm love and light and I never go through challenges and present myself as something I am not. I go through deep struggles, deep challenges, because I am a deep person. I can't thrive in the shallows. And so if you're like me and you go really deep into your relationships, into yourself, into your world, then you can get kind of caught up in that sometimes. And it's important to know how to disentangle yourself from those energies and come back up for air and come into the light again, because it is a balance of shadow and light. It is a balance of that deep, hardcore energy work where you're looking at the underbelly, you're looking at the sinew, the guts, and then you're also coming up and you're going, okay, how can I transmute this and alchemize this into usable energy so that you can lead in your own life and you can actually manifest and achieve goals that your spirit is in alignment with, that you're passionate about. So there is this disorientation right now. And please feel free to comment. And like I said, feel free to like, subscribe, or you can hit the notification bell if you want to be advised when I come on to do a video. I really am grateful for all the support, and I'm also really grateful for the donations that you guys sent in. Any amount, it really helps further. I can get cards and bring that to the table too. And so I'm also open to, if you have a card deck that you want to purchase so I can use it on the channel, just let me know. So just feel free to comment and engage if you like. So the other thing that I wanted to just touch base on before I get into the cards is abandonment issues. And so as we are stepping into a newer version of ourselves, one that, has this courage that we might not have felt before, where we are facing our fears. Our fears are really coming up to the forefront and going, hello, like, look at me. These are my relationship fears. These are my fears surrounding work. These are my fears surrounding my identity, etc. Depending on where you are on your path, you might have a lot coming your way right now because your team believes in you, that you can transmute and alchemize some of these poisons, some of these, darker energies or ancestral patterns from the past. They believe in you and see that strength in you that you may not feel all the time while you're incarnated, because sometimes we forget as we relate more to this human aspect of ourselves and this ego aspect of ourselves rather than spirit, right? So severe abandonment issues, but it's also on like an existential crisis level. So you recognize that you're not abandoned, but there's still this abandonment energy coming up. So really looking at where your attachments are, what you're attached to materially, what you're attached to in people, what your expectations are with people and with yourself. So if you're really overachieving, the universe and these energies are asking you to take a step back and find the quiet time and reinvest in your body or your just kind of mental peace, serenity. So it's all coming up, all of it. So this is a very intense time. And I mentioned it on my page, but you might be feeling a lot of ascension symptoms, like very fatigued. There might be suicidal thoughts. There might be some really dark energies such as anxiety, depression. You might be turning to substances, and that can be food, that can be sugar, but it can also be the harder substances, drugs, alcohol, sex addiction. These things can all come up when we're feeling very overwhelmed. So really ask yourself, is this what you want to be reinvesting in at this time? And I'm not going to go into the physiology of addiction, but if you are on the edge and you're starting to invest your time, energy into substance and distracting yourself and avoiding in that way, this is a really good time to check in with yourself and ask yourself, is this really what I want to be doing? Is this really the direction that I want to be going right now? Feeling this overwhelm. And I don't have all the answers for you in terms of how to cope and soothe yourself healthily, but I believe that we have been learning those tools over the past couple of years in terms of how to actually mother and nurture ourselves and father ourselves too, in terms of providing what we need instead of really seeking that outside of ourselves in a romantic partner or other people. So it's kind of weird in this COVID-19 energy where we would really want to seek community or touch or, a hug. And yet we're also being asked to really recognize our strengths in nurturing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. So, there can be these little simple things. Like I have this little brush that you can use to like stimulate your lymphatic system. So I've been doing that for the last couple of days and meditating and grounding out in nature all the time, but finding I really needed to actually do more meditating because there's this energy coming through that spirit is really trying, or spirit is communicating with us. However, these dense energies sometimes make it hard for that message to come through. And so we're needing to actually connect deeper than we had been before. And I have brought this up a couple times, that what we did before might not cut it in these energies. So you might have to drink more water. You might have to have more baths or go swimming more or work out more, whatever it is that relaxes your central nervous system. Because right now I do feel like that's why anxiety is high, because our central nervous system, our nervous systems are being activated in a way they haven't for a while. So you might feel jittery or have heart palpitations or just really feeling off or having very strange dream sequences. You might even be having nightmares, cold sweats, just disturbed, energy, because it's, like I said, it's rattling loose, like everything. It's like a tossed salad. So if you're in that kind of convergence energy, know that you're not alone. And it is very challenging. It is a struggle. And, kind of having to fall back on what you've built for yourself. So if you haven't built the required kind of structures, so learning to receive help from your friends, community, or learning how to cope healthily. So like I said, drinking water, exercising, meditating, having salt baths, or whatever it is for you, painting, reading, those healthy coping mechanisms versus lashing out, projecting, going to substances, doing things that actually hurt you in the short term and in the long run, while you're seeking to avoid and distract yourself from these painful energies. And it is courageous. It is difficult. And I have to say, I've done it too. I've been feeling so overwhelmed that I'm going to buy that pack of gummies. I'm going to eat all those gummies. And I'm going to eat a chocolate bar too. So my thing is emotional eating, in addition to sometimes having, whiskey and a Coke. But when I'm in this line of work, I do recognize that alcohol, even marijuana, which is unfortunate, but when I have those substances, it actually does detract from my ability to do this work. So, when I want to come through as a clean channel, I do have to be aware of that. And sugar is one of those really big things too. If I have a lot of sugar, like the bag of gummy bears I ate last night, it actually does take my energy down. So just be aware of what that is for you, and know that it is self-punishment. Know that you are hurting yourself in the short term to cope and navigate those energies, and recognize those fears, because those fears of the future and what things are going to look like for you, that is driving that energy of addiction. So I don't have the answers for the coping, for healthy coping, but that's up to you guys to learn how to cope healthily with these challenging energies. So I wish you all the best with that. And I'm right there with you in just doing the best we can, because we're not perfect. We're not going to be on our best game all the time, but just be really aware that at these times in life where everything is so potent and the energy is electric almost, that just be careful, because you could slide down that slippery slope very quickly if you're not aware, and that might not be your intention. So just be careful. Along with that, I'll just say, there is that energy of giving up. Why am I here? What's my purpose? I feel like I'm always working and never, something's not, coming up to the surface, or I planted all these seeds, but where are the plants? It's hard to see things in the physical world, and yet you've done all this spiritual work. And what I've received from Spirit when I ask that question is patience. And we're like, no more patience. But they really are saying, like, sorry, divine time. And I know those of you who have been on the path, and I said in a comment on Facebook before, like, fuck divine time, because it always seems like divine time is just like so far out there in terms of when you feel it's necessary or you need something in your life. So it can be a little bit frustrating, but I do feel like there are powerful energies at work right now. And if we tune more into that spiritual level and understand we came here also as an act of service for a greater good, not simply just for our lives, which are very important too, but we have to do the best we can with what we have in the now and with the tools and resources we have right now, and then allow spirit to show up for us, even if it doesn't feel or look like it's right to us. So there's powerful shifts happening. And it's okay to be like, what the fuck? But like I said, at the same time, it's important to re-engage, because when you get to that place where you feel like giving up, you can miss out on some of the opportunities that are coming your way or being brought to you, or all that hard work that you did. So you did all this hard work, and then you get to the finish line and you feel exhausted and depleted and done. So say this is like hiking Mount Everest, and you're just about at the top, and you're like, fuck, I can't do it. Like, I can't do another thing. Like, I've done everything I could. I can't get to the top. So what do you do? What do you do at that point? And I think a lot of us are there, and it's important to recognize all the effort and the hard work that got you there, even if you didn't make it to the top or the pinnacle achievement that you thought. So whatever your expectation was that you didn't quite meet, or life came in and there was a huge twist of fate, or, spirit came and readjusted or redirected. There's a lot of that happening, but it's important for you to choose to re-engage. So choose to re-engage right now at this time in whatever way that is for you. That could be simply, doing a meditation or focusing more on what you want still out of life versus what you didn't get, what didn't happen for you, where you're not, how disappointed you are and everything. So just doing a subtle shift and choosing to re-engage and going, okay, no, I still worked for this. I still worked for something that I can still actually work towards. So note where you are and be real with where you are so that you can make goals that are doable. So don't set your sights too high right now with the energy that we have, which is very limited. In terms of our human bodies. That might be changing. It might be part of the shift where all of a sudden we feel this huge energy boost. But right now, from my experience, that's not where I'm at. My body feels heavy. And, I'm very tired. I need more sleep. And like I said, I haven't been on here for a while because I just couldn't come on here. So check in with yourself and where you're at, but make a choice to re-engage. So let's see where the cards are going to take us today. And I am in my new spot. But I have yet to put up my shelving, but I'm excited because soon there's going to be some awesome goodies behind me that you can feast your little eyes on. All right. So the cards I'm using today, Spirit of the Animal Oracle, Jody Bergsma, Work Your Light, and we've got the Wisdom of Avalon energy as well as the Fairy energy. And if you do stick around until the end of the reading, because it looks like we're starting to go along here, but we'll see. I will pull a card for you if you like, if I have enough energy at the end. So that's something I like to do as a give back to the community. Thanks again for watching, you guys. So let's see, what energy do we have for the past? Oh, mama, butterfly and rebirth. So you can reinvent yourself. Open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. So this is a big part of accepting what we've just been through, even if it's really ugly, even if it's challenging, really understanding that we've just come through a huge portal, a huge gateway of transforming ourselves into a new version and a very spiritually advanced version as well. So really understanding our strengths and our weaknesses and accepting ourselves with more unconditional love. And that's something huge. And also shining your light, like continuing to shine your light bright. Wear the jewelry you want to wear. Have friends that reflect more of your values, or who engage with you in a way that supports you and uplifts you, rather than people that might judge or criticize, and you just don't feel comfortable. And so really connecting with other people who are rebirthing and spreading their wings. And what we have also come out of, and what I talked a little bit about in the channel in the beginning, was this energy of coming from something different before and really learning how to spread these new wings, because this is new for us. So we're like little fools, but also so beautiful and delicate and fragile and vulnerable. So really feeling that vulnerability right now, with these new wings that we've got, but also understanding how important it is to be ourselves, be authentic, so that our colors can attract our tribe, our colors that shine bright and shine through the bullshit from the past and what other people projected on us, or situations that hurt us, or lovers that couldn't meet us. All of that energy from the past, that pain, letting it go, bursting through, breaking through that. So open to the rewards of change. So we've just been going through the pain of change, the trauma of change, the agony of change. And now it's like, okay, now open to the rewards of change. So this is a really interesting card, and just embracing even those darker moments on our path. And this has been hard for me to do as well lately, because I have some resentment and anger still. But I am recognizing that I am moving forward with that energy and alchemizing and transforming it in a way that works for me. So I hope you guys are feeling that strength and courage as well in your own life, and working through things that might have before taken you years to transform and alchemize into healing energy, but now it's taking you months or a year or whatnot, but you're getting through it faster, you're processing faster. So to clarify that energy, unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So a lot of what we have just handled and been through has been a really powerful culmination of a cycle, possibly from many lifetimes. So you might have had, say, 50 lifetimes involving learning to speak up. So to speak your truth. You might have had energy of codependency. You might have had toxic traits of settling for less than you deserve because you're afraid that there's not enough out there. You're afraid, even with a job, that there's not a better job, or with a person, that there's not a person who will meet your needs better. So in that energy of lack or victimization, really unbinding yourself from that energy and going, no, I do deserve better, or I will step away. I have the courage to step away and know that if that person's meant to come back, they will. And just really staying in that more powerful energy of faith and wisdom within yourself, knowing your strength and your power to move forward. And it can still be challenging. This is challenging energy, but with this rebirth energy, we can just see, like in the chrysalis, the butterfly's bound. There's no two ways about it. It is bound. It is stuck in that chrysalis. You can't move, you can't get out of that. And then it goes through that very painful transformation, but it is unbound afterwards. And then flying free. So a very interesting energy of completed karmic contracts and completed personal cycles, but also you agreed to engage with certain people as catalysts. And there might be some people in your life or some situations you still don't have all the answers to. For that, I would say just table it, take care of yourself, let spirit show you the way. Don't engage in that energy of trying to find the answers or the puzzle pieces, because spirit will bring them when it's time. So if you can use your energy more efficiently, just let it go for now. Focus on you. So to clarify that, we've got the dog. So energies of the number 10 or 19. So new beginnings, new energies, loyalty, sincerity, and unconditional love. I was just talking about that. But the interesting thing is, you might have been thinking on learning unconditional love about other people or another person. They might have been embodying that energy for you. But it's actually unconditional love for yourself. And if you think about everyone as one, then yes, it is one and the same. But for simplicity's sake, let's bring it back to the self and say you've been learning about how to unconditionally love yourself more. So less negative self-talk, less connection to, past stories of shame or even stories of the past that brought you down. Really focusing on how you've transformed that and how you have actually stepped away from bondage or toxic energies in yourself, which allows you to take a step back from toxic energies in other people and gives them a chance to dismantle their own energies because you're saying no, so you're not enabling them anymore. So it's a really awesome energy. And this is an energy of loyalty to yourself first and foremost. So not giving your trust away like treats on Halloween, really understanding that you have to earn trust. So especially as an empath or sensitive person, you see people's souls and you just go right to the best parts of them and overlook certain qualities, even friendships, romantic partners, which isn't really fair to them because what you're doing is putting them on a pedestal. And I've done this before. I recognize this now. And so that can actually feed into self-worth issues when you put someone up here and you're like, I give you full trust. I think you're totally amazing. And they're going, but I have these things. Would you love me if you knew all of these dark things about me? Right. So coming back to the self-loyalty, it's loyalty to yourself first, which means healthy boundaries, which means allowing people to earn your trust, which means seeing the red flags and seeing, the green flags. So looking at everything in a holistic manner, not just putting the rose-colored glasses on and blasting through. And so this is a big change for us, big change in seeing everything, seeing it and actually being very practical. So like I said in the beginning, instead of going all heart, I love you, there's nothing you could do to, sway me, going, no, I love you, but these are my needs, right? Or I love you, but that's not going to work for me. So really having that energy of self-love and loyalty, but really being able to offer that to a person who's going to reciprocate that energy, who is loyal and unconditional to you as well. So awesome energies. And, in line with the rebirthing, I think we are rebirthing that energy, recognizing who we can trust. Because if you had past experiences of people who hurt you in karmic contract, and in that energy of the past that was created through trauma and or projection from a parent or family member or sibling, whatever the dynamic was for you, then you could have been just painted everything with that same brush. No one can love me. I'm not worthy, etc., etc. And you're sabotaging all your relationships or all situations because of that energy from the past. So rebirthing that energy, letting it go, because that is not the truth. Unbinding yourself from that and coming into a more sincere relationship with yourself. Really seeing where you believed something that wasn't true and you took it on for yourself. And now you're standing in the truth and you're being loyal to you and the truth, your higher self, and your connection with spirit as well. So let's see what's happening in the present here. Horse, freedom. Yes. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. So there are many of you as well who are following the call, even when you're terrified like me. I just made some big changes and I was not, I couldn't see it, blind as a damn bat going into this, hoping and having faith that it's the right move for me, just based on my intuition, based on my guidance with spirit, but feeling free, but also feeling the fear as well. But what this is also saying is that we are moving towards this purpose, rebirthed, with our wings out. And it's just, we're learning how to catch the thermals, and I am fearful, and recognizing that fear. So it's okay for you guys to do that too. Go, holy shit, okay, I'm terrified, right? I'm going to put that up. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to acknowledge it so that I can move through it and use it as a catalyst for this freedom of having that energy of unlimited reserve. Like, okay, like I was saying, re-engage, get in there. So winds of change, Spirit is helping us get in alignment, getting on track with our soul path. So if you were off track, don't be afraid that you're 10 million miles off, the path for you. Spirit is doing course corrections within your limits to help you get to exactly where you need to be. And, since everything is divine in purpose, no matter if you take a little detour, you're still going to get where you need to go. So try not to invest in that worry energy for too long, because we're all going to go there at some point. But try not to get stuck there. So to clarify that, we have Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? So this is for the masculines and the feminines, or non-binary. Like, this is the Priestess energy in you. So really asking yourself, when you look at the past self or the wounded inner child, and now you're looking at your inner child, playful, free, this butterfly, these challenges that have totally transformed you, this pain that has transformed your heart, and learning what wisdom has come out of that might take a little while, but there are aspects of this lesson or these lessons or these karmic cycles and or ancestral cycles that you have broken free of. You have dismantled them like a freaking boss. And yeah, it totally might have annihilated you, but you did it, okay? So how can you relate to your leadership skills and your courage more than your weakness and fears right now? So really looking at your strengths, acknowledging the fears and the weaknesses, but going back to, no, you're a fucking badass. Like, go back to the fact that you fucking climbed to the damn top, okay? So continue to give yourself credit for that. And that might help you navigate some of those darker energies when you're feeling vulnerable, or you're feeling like you want to give up, or, there's no point. Remembering that you have changed, even if it's the tiniest change, just remember that you have changed, you have learned, you're a different person. So it's moving forward as that different person with this freedom, with this leadership energy. And we have the Deer, diplomacy and gentleness, 22. So 2-2 could be a strong numerology connection there for you. And it's all about cooperation, balance. I was talking about justice in the beginning. So there still might be some unfinished business here, you guys, but the cards aren't really directing us towards that. They want us to focus on ourselves, focus on being gentle with ourselves, and focus on having diplomacy in our own life. So really being just to ourselves, being kind to ourselves. And it's interesting that we have this gentleness and diplomacy with the freedom of the horse and the priestess, because this priestess energy is earned. You don't just, I'm a priestess. No, a priestess that energy comes with sacrifice, because you don't just get wisdom from nowhere. That is why there's pain and suffering here. And it can get a little old. Yeah, I'm there with you guys. But we know that we can't relate to people if we haven't experienced things that brought us to our core of our being, of grief, of all of it, the gamut of emotions that we have. So understanding that priestess energy, the wisdom that you have, is hard earned. So don't sell yourself short, and be kind to yourself. Like, really, be kind to yourself, you guys. So let's see what we have coming up in the future energies here. What is this energy leading us to? Swan, grace, Love it. We've gotten this one a few times, so you can see how the energy is going whoom, 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 just cycling through, right? Because we're hitting a lot of challenges and roadblocks. It is not easy. We're not going in a straight line, right? So you who glides across the waters of my soul, bring me your wisdom and light. Help me transform into elegance and grace. Inspire me with dignity and the spirit of beauty. And I've been really kind of tapping into Archangel Michael after a reading that I did with a friend, and just going, okay, like feeling down and low. I'm like, okay, I got to tap into like some higher energies here, because I want to be in that energy of grace. I don't want drama. I don't want to have confrontation and fight. Yes, I can stand up for what I believe in. Yes, I can invest my energy in that when it's appropriate. But no, I do not want to waste my time and energy when it is so precious right now on that type of negativity at the moment. So calling in that grace and that wisdom. And so I love this energy of elegance here too. And I think, there's something kind of elegant about deers too and fawns as well. And the priestess energy too. There's something elegant. And the horse, right? Like if we just kind of dive into all that elegance and serenity in these energies here. And of course, this transformation, right? We all know the ugly duckling, so I'm not going to go into it. But inspire me with dignity and the spirit of beauty. So remembering the beauty in yourself, even in that darkness, even when you're in like the pits of hell, within your own hell, remembering that there's still beauty about you in there because you're working through it. You're working to re-engage and get back into the game, so to speak, as a higher version of yourself, as more of a leader in your own life. So very, very interesting energies of transformation and grace. So I do feel like Spirit is kind of saying, like, this hard work isn't for nothing. You will see evidence in your life coming up here. But, right, with all things, it's time. It's time and it's energy and it's divinity as well. So for the benefit of the whole too. So let's clarify that with mirror. Oh, that's interesting, because we have the swans, 2 swans on water, and then we have the mirror energy. And if you guys watch other tarot readers, you will note that it's not unusual to have these together. And this can denote soul bonds, soulmate relationships where you are really mirroring each other, and they can be really challenging, but you also recognize that they catalyze significant growth in yourself, or that you communicate telepathically, or you just have an understanding with spirit that there's more than meets the eye there. There's more to the situation. You can't quite figure it out. It might cause some challenge in your mind. But if you drop into your heart, you recognize that there's mirroring going on in a situation or a person. And swans, a lot of the time are about soulmate relationships, intimate or friends or otherwise. But it can denote, that really important soul bond, which can be so powerful and so painful. So if you're in one of those energies, just bring it back to yourself, bring it back to you and what you can do, what you have the power to change. So if you're looking outside yourself and thinking about how another can change, or another has to do something to change the situation, to pull it back, turn the mirror back to yourself. It says who or what is triggering you. So this can be kind of ambiguous, because when we're triggered, we can be triggered to change and evolve, right? So maybe this is a really nice question of, how have you evolved in learning to deal with challenges with more grace, and learning to actually look at yourself instead of projecting onto others that they need to change or they need to be this or that. And so where have you started to take responsibility for energies where you didn't before? That's a beautiful quality in leadership. And that will actually get you really far in terms of your leadership energy. So who or what is triggering you? I love it. So the energies to also clarify that our Merlin, the Merlin, number one, the Fool, the beginning, alchemy, but also really not knowing what the fuck we're doing. Alchemy, justice, and balance. So all rolled into one. I think I'm going to read this card from the booklet just to give us a more in-depth understanding of what this card actually means. And I love the energies of Avalon and, of course, the swans. I mean, these are different decks, right? But Avalon and the swans, like, come on. Come on now. And the mirror, you know, a lot of metaphors for the mirror too. Some of them more positive than others, but let's go. Let's see what Mr. Merlin has to say. The Merlin is the messenger of initiation and alchemy and is both the magician and the high priest. He is the masculine keeper of magic and has the ability to turn iron into gold. The Merlin says you have all you need to move forward. Rejoice that all the elements you require for success are indeed present. So you have alchemized everything you need to move forward. And Spirit is going, wow, this is a huge accomplishment, celebrate. And we're kind of going, what are you talking about? Like, this is hardcore, man. Well, I'm saying that. I don't know if you guys are. But anyways, so you have all you need to move forward. Rejoice. So far out sometimes when we're in our, little human incarnation. It doesn't feel like that. But you are given notice that when it comes to life and its purpose, the magical aspect of the Merlin can be summoned to help you find an answer that is within you. And this has been very strong synchronicity. The answers are within you. They're not outside of you. You can't find them in another person at this time. Like the ones that are the most important, the ones that you're asking that are the most important to you, they're inside, which is, good and bad, depending on what you are looking for. When the Merlin appears, he tells you that justice will be done in all matters of your query, but not by any forceful action. So we're in this healed masculine energy with this card because it's the high priest, not the priestess. And we already had the priestess energy. So this is great. This is fantastic because this means we have healed masculine energy within us, which means we'd be seeing more healed masculine energy coming to us in the external, so manifested in friends, family, father figures, etc. So let's see here. Instead, ask yourself what you need to do to bring balance into your life. Are you working too hard, perhaps overthinking things? Do you have enough downtime? So really, it's all saying everything comes down to you. The answers you seek are not found in obvious places. It's time to go within through meditation, prayer, and ask the spirit world of the Merlin's magical influence to send you signs and omens to help you chart your course. The Merlin says that he will lend you his wisdom and magic on this leg of your journey until you can claim it as your own. And that's another thing, right? Because with these new wings, as I said before, we're a little bit wobbly. We're like, what are we doing? Like, I'm not really sure about this landscape. Like, is this really what I asked for? I shared the meme of this shit wasn't on my vision board. So you might have had a vision for yourself and wanting to fly and wanting to be liberated. And now that we're here and we can't see anything, it's kind of scary. And you're like, okay, well, this isn't how I envisioned this. So Spirit is saying that if you're feeling that and you're a little trepid or fearful or anxious about what's coming next and what is right now, then Spirit can help us right now learning to actually fly, learning to find the thermals, learning to go with the flow, with the wings spread. So his message is always be in the world, but not of it, and wear it only as a loose cloak about your shoulders. So really talking about, are you going to choose to connect in deeper with your ego and your physical incarnation, or are you going to choose to connect deeper to your spiritual wisdom, your knowing, and the combination of the two, that mind and that heart, that spirit, mind, body, soul, all connected as one, and your connection, or are you going to focus on your separation and that energy of abandonment? So remember, all signs and omens sent by the Merlin are but reflections of that which is within you already. So that's another thing to remember is when you're seeing omens, signs, messages, numerology, it's you sending messages to yourself. So you're ready for those synchronicities and energies, because in essence, your team is sending them, but you're asking for direction, whether it's in your sleep, whether it's your higher self, or whether you are actually praying for answers. So you're asking and receiving. So it is you. So pay attention because you're speaking, communicating to yourself. So very important energies there. Now I did pull one card from the Fairy Oracle. So let's see what that energy has. Passion. This is such a cute little card. I just love the colors that she's got here. So we have flowers, bouquet. This can maybe be romance. This can be opening to receive from people. I know in my life, I've been an overgiver, and in the last year or two, I felt kind of taken advantage of in some ways, and also, proud of myself and others for being a giving person, but having to reconcile some overgiving tendencies. And so I've really allowed myself to receive, especially in the past couple of weeks, having just made a big change. And I have to tell you, it feels so good to allow people to show up for you when you have, built some of your identity around just giving, and that being part of your value system. It's really beautiful to allow people to give to you and to feel that energy of receiving. So I think there's some of that energy coming through in this card, this passion. It says passion is an inner flame that will keep you striving toward your vision. So allow people to be passionate about you, and allow yourself to be passionate about your friends, your family, your tribe, or what is important to you on your soul path. So really coming alive again, just allowing the wind, allowing, people to kind of stoke that flame, those embers, being willing to let energy in again so that we can kind of build ourselves back up, especially if we've been feeling very depleted in that department. So those are some pretty big energies for today. And I'm really glad that I finally had the energy to come back on and commune and connect with you guys in the community. So once again, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I will have a link to PayPal. I'll put that up when I put the video up officially on YouTube. And you can find that on my Facebook page at Kindred Heart Tarot. And if you haven't already supported me there, please do. And also let me know if there's any type of tarot reading or, romance reading or career reading. If you guys really want something like that, just leave a comment in the posts on YouTube and or send me a message over on Facebook there as well. And so donations aren't required. They are appreciated. And if you'd like to book a private session, I will be opening that back up. So you can book on that Facebook page, Kindred Heart Tarot. I have the prices and everything up there, and then I just take payment through PayPal. So if you would like a card pull for yourself, I'm just going to have a little sip of water. But if you want a card pull for yourself, I'd be happy to pull a card for you. So just put yes, please in the comments, and I will pull one for you today. And if not, like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this reading resonated with you because there's so much going on. And I'm, back into it. So the next reading, I might be doing a Tarot Tuesday reading tomorrow, I guess. And then the next reading would be Saturday. So I don't see any comments for personal card reading today at this time. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I really love to see you and feel great when there's support on the page, of course. And I will catch up with you next time. All right, guys, lots of love. Take care. And remember, be gentle with yourself. Okay, ciao for now. Bye.